I never thought I'd find myself staring at a text message that would shatter my entire understanding of trust. I had always looked up to my older brother, Max. Growing up, he was my hero, strong, smart, and always there for me. Our family was tight-knit, and Max's role as the elder brother came with a sense of responsibility he wore like a badge. But that all changed one fateful summer evening when I stumbled upon something that turned my world upside down. Max was getting married to his high school sweetheart, Laura, a woman I'd grown to think of as family. The wedding was just a month away, and Max had asked me to help with some last-minute preparations. I was more than happy to assist, eager to ensure everything went off without a hitch. Max and Laura's relationship had always seemed perfect to me. They were the epitome of a happy couple. Laura had been a fixture in our family gatherings, always the charming and thoughtful future sister-in-law. Laura and I had developed a close friendship over the years. We would often chat about life, work, and sometimes, her plans for the wedding. She had been nothing but kind and supportive to me, which made the upcoming event even more special. One evening, Laura asked for my help with some wedding planning at her apartment. I agreed, excited to help make her special day perfect. As I arrived at Laura's apartment, she greeted me with a warm smile and handed me a stack of wedding invitations that needed addressing. We worked side by side, talking about everything from flower arrangements to the seating chart. At one point, Laura mentioned she had misplaced her phone charger. I offered to find one for her, thinking it would be a quick errand. While searching for the charger, I came across Laura's phone lying on the coffee table. It was an innocent mistake to pick it up, intending to check if it had a cable. However, as I glanced at the screen, a new message notification caught my eye. It was from an unknown number. The message preview read, "I can't wait to see you tonight. Max will never find out." My heart skipped a beat. I felt a rush of anxiety and curiosity. I knew it was wrong, but I couldn't ignore the message. I unlocked the phone using the password Laura had shared in passing, a combination of her birthdate and a favorite number. Scrolling through the conversation, my worst fears were confirmed. Laura was having an affair. The texts were explicit and detailed. Laura was involved with someone else, and the conversations revealed that this was not a one-time occurrence. They discussed their encounters in intimate detail, and Laura spoke of her dissatisfaction with Max and her desire for a more passionate connection. The texts also included plans for future meetings, which were set to coincide with Max's work trips. It was clear that Laura had been living a double life, and the realization was crushing. I felt a deep sense of betrayal. Laura had always been someone I admired and trusted. To see her involved in such deceit was both shocking and painful. I was overwhelmed with a mix of emotions, anger, sadness, and a profound sense of guilt for discovering the truth. I knew that my next steps would have a significant impact on everyone involved, and I felt the weight of that responsibility heavily. I decided to save the screenshots of the messages and gather more information. My mind raced with thoughts of how to approach the situation. I couldn't confront Laura directly, as it would risk alerting her to the fact that I knew about the affair. Instead, I focused on collecting more evidence, hoping to understand the full extent of the betrayal. Over the next few days, I continued to monitor Laura's interactions discreetly. I observed her patterns and saw more messages that confirmed the affair was ongoing. The messages were increasingly intimate and included details of their meetings and future plans. It was clear that Laura was deeply involved with this other person, and the situation was more complicated than I had initially realized. Max and I had been close throughout this period, and he often sought my advice on various wedding-related matters. He was excited about the upcoming event and seemed genuinely happy. I struggled to keep my composure, knowing that the truth was hanging over us like a dark cloud. Every time Max spoke about his plans for the future, I felt a pang of guilt, knowing that I was holding on to a secret that could shatter his world. Laura's behavior became increasingly erratic. She would often cancel plans with Max, giving vague excuses. I noticed that she was spending more time on her phone and seemed distant. The affair had clearly taken a toll on her, and her attempts to juggle her double life were becoming more desperate. I watched as she tried to maintain a facade of normalcy, all while the truth loomed just beneath the surface. The situation reached a tipping point when Laura started acting suspiciously around Max's family. She was unusually quiet during family dinners and avoided eye contact with Max's parents. Her behavior was a stark contrast to the warm and engaging person we had known. Max's family began to notice the change, and there were whispers of concern, but no one could pinpoint the cause. One evening, as I was helping Max with some wedding-related tasks, he confided in me about his growing concerns. He mentioned that Laura had become increasingly distant and had even started avoiding their regular weekend outings. Max was frustrated and confused, but he didn't suspect anything serious. I was torn between my loyalty to Max and the crushing weight of the truth. The night before the wedding rehearsal, I knew I had to make a decision. Max and I were hanging out at his place, discussing last-minute details for the wedding. The atmosphere was lighthearted, and Max seemed excited about the big day. I was finding it increasingly difficult to maintain a facade of normalcy, and the burden of the truth was becoming unbearable. Max casually mentioned that he had been receiving strange texts lately. He thought they were spam or wrong numbers and hadn't paid them much attention. My heart sank. The texts he mentioned were likely from Laura's lover, and it only intensified my resolve to reveal the truth. I realized that Max was unknowingly being subjected to a cruel deception. That night, I gathered my courage and decided to tell Max everything. I showed him the screenshots of the messages, preparing for the fallout. Max's face went pale as he read through the texts. His initial reaction was a mix of disbelief and anger. He struggled to process the information, and his world seemed to crumble around him. The pain in his eyes was evident, and I could see the depth of his hurt and betrayal. Max's confrontation with Laura was inevitable. The following day, he arranged to meet with her in a quiet park. I could sense the tension in the air as they sat on a bench, the conversation starting with an awkward silence. Laura, initially confused and defensive, soon realized that Max had proof of her infidelity. The confrontation was emotionally charged, and Laura's attempts to justify her actions were met with anger and sorrow. Laura confessed that she had been unhappy for a long time but didn't know how to address her issues with Max. Her explanations were filled with contradictions, and she seemed to be grasping for excuses rather than offering genuine remorse. The emotional toll on both Max and Laura was evident, and the confrontation left a lasting impression on everyone involved. The fallout from the confrontation was immediate. The wedding was cancelled, and Max took time off work to deal with the emotional aftermath. Our family was thrown into chaos, trying to navigate the fallout of the betrayal. Max's parents were devastated, struggling to understand how someone so beloved could be capable of such deceit. The family dynamics were strained, and the once joyous occasion turned into a period of reflection and grief. In the weeks that followed, Max and I tried to navigate our strained relationship. The betrayal had affected not just Max but everyone involved. I struggled with my own feelings of guilt and responsibility for uncovering the affair. It was a difficult time, and finding a way to support Max while dealing with my own emotions was challenging. Max sought therapy to help process the betrayal and rebuild his sense of self-worth. He found solace in the support of friends and family, and the therapy sessions helped him come to terms with the betrayal. The process was long and difficult, but he gradually began to rebuild his life and find a new sense of purpose. Laura's departure marked the end of a chapter, but it also began a long process of healing for Max. He focused on personal growth and rebuilding his sense of trust. The experience taught him valuable lessons about relationships and the importance of honesty. Despite the pain, he was determined to use the experience as a stepping stone for personal development. As time passed, Max found a new sense of direction. He started a new job that allowed him to focus on his passions and build new relationships. He also reconnected with old friends and family members, finding support and understanding in unexpected places. The healing process was gradual, but Max's resilience and determination helped him move forward. The experience had a lasting impact on all of us. The scars of the past remained, but they served as a reminder of the importance of trust, loyalty, and integrity. Max and I worked through our issues, and our relationship began to heal. We learned to value the genuine connections we had and appreciate the strength we found in each other. Max's journey to recovery was not without its challenges. He faced moments of doubt and sadness, but he also experienced moments of triumph and growth. He began to see the betrayal not as a reflection of his worth but as a catalyst for personal growth. He started taking care of himself, pursuing new hobbies, and embracing opportunities that had previously seemed out of reach. Laura's departure had left a void, but it also opened up space for new beginnings. Max's new job brought him a sense of fulfillment and allowed him to explore his passions. He started volunteering with organizations that supported victims of betrayal and helped others navigate their own challenges. The experience had transformed him, and he used his pain as a source of strength to make a positive impact in the lives of others. In the end, the experience taught us all valuable lessons about trust, loyalty, and the complexities of human relationships. Despite the pain and challenges, we emerged stronger and more understanding of the importance of honesty. The scars of the past may never fully heal, but they serve as a reminder of the strength we found in each other and the resilience that helped us move forward. Max's story became a testament to the power of personal growth and the ability to overcome adversity. His journey was not defined by the betrayal but by his resilience and determination to create a better future. He found peace and fulfillment in unexpected places and learned to appreciate the genuine connections that had always been there for him. I never imagined that a casual dinner party would unravel a decade-long friendship and reveal hidden truths. My best friend, Jake, and I had been inseparable since college. We had shared countless experiences, triumphs, failures, and everything in between. When Jake met Emily, a charming and intelligent woman, I was thrilled. Their relationship seemed to be a perfect match, and when they got engaged, I couldn't have been happier for them. Emily quickly became like a sister to me, and their wedding was supposed to be the happiest day of our lives. A few months before the wedding, Jake and Emily hosted a dinner party at their apartment. It was a small gathering of close friends and family to celebrate their upcoming nuptials. I had been looking forward to it all week. I arrived early to help with the last-minute preparations, and as I entered their cozy apartment, I was greeted by the warmth of good food and good company. As the evening progressed, the conversation flowed easily. We discussed everything from wedding plans to upcoming vacations. At one point, Emily and Jake stepped into the kitchen to finish preparing a dish, leaving the guests to mingle. I took the opportunity to catch up with some old friends who were also attending. During our conversation, I noticed Emily's phone lying on the coffee table. It was unusual for her to leave her phone unattended, as she was always quite meticulous about it. As I reached for it to show a friend a photo I had taken earlier, a message notification popped up on the screen. The preview read, "Can't wait to see you tonight. I'll be waiting." My heart raced. It was clear that the message wasn't intended for Jake. I unlocked the phone using the code Emily had shared with me when I had helped her with some technical issues before. The messages were explicit and intimate, revealing an ongoing affair with someone named Mark. The conversation was filled with plans for secret meetings and expressions of longing that made it painfully clear Emily had been cheating on Jake. The shock was overwhelming. Emily had always been kind and loving, and I couldn't believe she was capable of such betrayal. The realization hit me hard, and I struggled to process the implications of what I had discovered. I knew I had to be cautious. Confronting Emily or Jake directly could potentially lead to a messy situation and would also mean revealing that I had snooped through her phone, which would only add to the complexity of the situation. I decided to save the screenshots of the messages and gather more information. I needed to confirm the affair before taking any action. Over the next few days, I watched Emily's behavior closely. I noticed more frequent cancellations of plans with Jake and a growing distance between them. Emily seemed to be distracted and often on her phone, and there were subtle changes in her demeanor that were hard to ignore. Jake was increasingly perplexed by Emily's behavior. He mentioned to me that she had been more secretive and less enthusiastic about their wedding plans. I tried to offer support and advice, all while grappling with the knowledge of the affair. It was a difficult balancing act, trying to remain supportive while holding on to such a painful secret. One evening, Jake confided in me that he had noticed Emily's phone seemed to be receiving a lot of messages from an unknown number. He was concerned and wondered if there was something he should know. My heart sank at the thought of him being so close to discovering the truth. I reassured him, suggesting he talk to Emily directly about his concerns rather than letting it fester. The turning point came when Jake invited me to join him for a drink at a local bar. He needed someone to talk to, and I was more than willing to be there for him. Over drinks, Jake's frustration and confusion were evident. He shared that Emily had been acting strangely and that he had even found a suspicious receipt for a hotel stay that he couldn't explain. It was clear that Jake was on the verge of discovering the truth. I knew I had to act quickly. I decided to gather all the evidence I had and confront Emily myself before Jake found out. I arranged to meet Emily for coffee under the pretense of discussing wedding details. As we sat down at a quiet cafe, I took a deep breath and broached the subject delicately. "Emily, there's something I need to talk to you about," I said carefully. "I've noticed some things that don't add up, and I need to know what's going on." Emily's face went pale, and she immediately understood what I was hinting at. She broke down in tears, confessing that she had been having an affair with Mark for several months. She admitted that her feelings for Jake had changed, and she had been trying to figure out how to end things without hurting him. Her guilt and remorse were palpable, but it did little to ease the pain of the betrayal. Emily's confession was both heartbreaking and relieving. I felt a profound sadness for Jake, knowing that he would soon have to face the reality of the situation. I decided to break the news to him gently, offering my support throughout the process. Jake's reaction to the revelation was a mixture of shock, disbelief, and profound sadness. The news hit him like a ton of bricks. He struggled to process the betrayal and faced an emotional roller coaster as he came to terms with the truth. The wedding was cancelled, and the aftermath was a whirlwind of emotions for everyone involved. The following weeks were a blur of confusion and heartache. Jake withdrew from social activities and avoided contact with friends. I tried to reach out and support him as much as I could, but it was clear he needed time to process the betrayal on his own. I also had to navigate my own feelings of guilt and sadness, knowing that I had played a role in unraveling his relationship. During this time, I noticed that Emily seemed to be trying to make amends. She reached out to me several times, seeking advice on how to handle the situation and expressing her deep regret. Her attempts at reconciliation were met with a mixture of sympathy and frustration. While I understood her remorse, it didn't change the fact that her actions had caused significant pain. One evening, as I was reflecting on the situation, I received a call from Emily. She wanted to meet and discuss things further. Reluctantly, I agreed. We met at a quiet park where we had previously spent many afternoons together. Emily revealed that she had been trying to reconcile with Mark, but their relationship had also deteriorated. She felt lost and uncertain about her future. She expressed a genuine desire to make things right with Jake, but she understood that it might be too late. Emily's confession had a profound impact on me. I was torn between my loyalty to Jake and the empathy I felt for Emily's own struggles. I began to question my own role in the situation and wondered if there was something more I could do to help both of them find resolution. Meanwhile, Jake's journey to recovery was fraught with challenges. He began attending therapy sessions regularly, focusing on unpacking the emotional trauma he had endured. His therapist helped him explore the underlying issues of self-worth and trust, guiding him through the process of healing. Jake also started journaling, using writing as a tool to express his feelings and track his progress. As Jake continued his path to healing, he began to reconnect with old friends and family members. He sought solace in the support of those who cared about him and slowly started to rebuild his social circle. His renewed connections provided him with a sense of stability and helped him rediscover joy in simple pleasures. Emily, on the other hand, faced her own struggles as she attempted to move forward. She reached out to a counselor and began working on her own emotional issues, exploring the reasons behind her actions and seeking personal growth. Despite her attempts at self-improvement, the shadow of her betrayal loomed large, and the process of rebuilding trust with others was slow and challenging. As time went on, the dynamics of our friend group began to shift. We tried to maintain a sense of normalcy, but the events of the past had left a lasting impact on our relationships. We found ourselves navigating new boundaries and redefining our connections with one another. Jake's resilience and determination were evident as he faced each day with a renewed sense of purpose. He began to set new goals for himself, both personally and professionally. He pursued new interests and hobbies, including volunteering at a local support center for individuals who had experienced similar betrayals. His efforts to help others became a source of fulfillment and strength. One day, Jake received a letter from Emily. It was a heartfelt apology, expressing her deep regret and acknowledging the pain she had caused. She also included a request for forgiveness and hoped that, in time, they could find a way to move forward. Jake read the letter with a mixture of emotions. He appreciated the apology but remained uncertain about the possibility of rebuilding a friendship with Emily. In the end, Jake chose to focus on his own well-being and continued to embrace the positive changes in his life. He chose not to respond to Emily's letter, understanding that his journey to healing was a personal one. He found peace in knowing that he had faced the situation with honesty and integrity and had emerged stronger as a result. The experience had transformed us all in significant ways. Jake's story became a testament to the power of resilience and the importance of self-discovery in the face of adversity. The lessons learned from the ordeal continued to shape our lives and relationships, reinforcing the value of trust, empathy, and personal growth. As I reflect on the events, I am reminded of the complexities of human relationships and the profound impact of betrayal. The journey from heartbreak to healing is never easy, but it is through the challenges and struggles that we find our strength and resilience. The story serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of facing difficult truths and the strength that comes from confronting adversity with honesty and courage. While the pain of betrayal never truly disappears, it is through the process of healing and self-discovery that we find the strength to move forward and embrace a brighter future.